There's so much good in this world, and I think reading is one of the learning information, that knowledge that I've passed down. Because you either have two options. Option one is you just do whatever you want, and you learn however you want from your environment, right? You're just sitting there by yourself. You do your life. You just live your life. You don't care to learn good or evil, right or wrong. Nothing matters as long as it's just what you think, right? Or two, you follow those rules, and what those rules do is they give your life purpose and meaning. And discovering those rules through reading, it helps your life. It improves your life, actually. Many people will think that it doesn't improve your life. It makes it worse. It just adds, it's just restrictions, and that makes your life miserable. But no, it doesn't. Maybe if you mess up and you fall and you just destroy your life, and that would make you feel bad, but then you get back on track and you would reach to that hero's ending. But the problem is, it's always possible not to reach that perfect or that hero's ending. They like in stories, right? The hero always sets on a journey, and he beats the monster, and he gets the girl, and then they live happily ever after, or something like that. But in real life, you don't. That doesn't have to happen. That might not happen. It's very, very possible that you wake up one day and you go out and you don't beat the monster, you die, and then you're dead, and your story was absolutely meaningless. Or maybe something bad happens, right? You go out and you trip and you fall and you break your arm, and you were supposed to do something that day that would result in you winning and saving the world. But because of that, you failed and you messed up. You didn't accomplish what you're going to do. And if there was no sin in this world, everybody would have heroes ending. Everyone would get to live their life out in full, benefiting people, helping people, and in turn, that would help themselves. But because there is sin, because there is random things that happen, and people do bad things that don't help other people, not everyone gets that hero's ending, because sin puts that back in its place. It says, no, you can't do that. Well, not its place, but sin destroys that destination that could have happened otherwise. And people they can still strive to get that ending. People can always strive to get that ending still, but they don't. They also don't have to either. They can stay where they're at and not reach for that ending, not reach their goals. Stay where they're at in that state of apathy, because it's a sinful state. It's a sin-fallen state. And when they're there, they don't have to care, and it's easier not to, actually. Sometimes doing right is easier than sinning, and sometimes sinning is easier than doing right. But most of the time, sinning is easier than doing what you should be doing, and doing what is right and just and honorable, good, charitable, loving. It's easier to do sin than to do any of that. It's easier to hit someone when they slap you, rather than to say, hey, I'm not going to hit you back, because guess what? Two wrongs don't make right. The only thing that makes right is a right. And if I hit you, that's a wrong. Now, if someone was trying to kill as many people as possible around me, I would try to stop them any way as possible. I would, if I needed to, I would kill them to avoid that happening. But there are not many situations where I would need to kill somebody, especially not in today's society either. Back 1,000 years ago, yes, people were more violent, more brutal, more wars happened, but now, not so much. And it's just very different now, that's for sure. But yeah, people don't have to reach for that. People don't have to be a hero anymore. There's no hero mentality. You don't have to say, yes, I'm going to reach for my goals. I'm going to try my best. You can fail, and you can give up sometimes, or all the time. You can have your whole life be a failure. You can die a failure. You can die absolutely useless, and no one's going to care. It's all up to you. You either can, because sin has entered the world, because there's free choice, you can do whatever you want, and it doesn't matter. So decide what you want. Do you want to be a person who does not strive for those goals, who does not want to be the best version of themselves? And you never will be that person. You never will reach that goal, that end goal. But you can get closer, a lot closer, and you can have that spirit that says, I will get there. You may not get there, you will not get there, but you can try as much as you can. And it's a lot better to try than to give up, because no one likes a quitter, and the Lord God definitely does not like a quitter. What will you do? Will you stand and fight, or will you sit down and give up? What will you do? Will you stand and fight, or will you sit down? Will you lie and say, "Hey, I don't care," or maybe you don't care. You're just weak, and that's not okay. No, it's not okay to be weak. People are like, "It's okay to be weak. You can just be weak, and it doesn't matter." It's only okay. There's only one way that is acceptable, and that is if you're trying not to be weak anymore. For example, if let's say I had no muscle, and I sat there and said, "You know what? It's okay for me to be weak, but I'm going to change that right now as fast as possible." And within 6 months, I was 10 times stronger, 5 times stronger. I don't think it could be 10 times, but yeah. In 3 months, I was twice as strong, 3 times as strong. But it's okay if that's not your continued state. To stay in that continued state is to say that you've given up. And if you've given up, will anyone praise you? Will you receive lauds of honor? Will your name be sung? Will you receive any glory? No. Do you want the glory or no? I mean, man, it's that simple. If you read a story, do you think the story is fun? Do you think the story is like, hey, the hero gave up, then he just got this disease and died? The end. Or the hero, he had the chance to slay the dragon. All he needed to do was to keep going and keep working and keep practicing. But you know what happened? The hero did. He did absolutely nothing. He didn't practice. He got fat. And then, when it was time to slay the dragon just knocked him over because he wasn't strong enough. Do you want to be strong enough? Do you want to be the one who can slay the dragon? Do you want to be the one who can slay the dragon or not? Because if you don't want to be the one who's going to slay that dragon, your life has gone very downhill. You are not going to reach that hero's ending. You are going to live a sin-filled life.